Good morning and a happy Monday to you. What a beautiful day it is. Hope we had an amazing weekend. Well, welcome to Atlantic Blowout on Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network. This is a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversation on special interest topics, news, events, stories through correspondence reports, expert opinions, and stakeholders analysis. In the headlines for today, the first is from Ogun State. NADF pledges to transform economy through agriculture. In Ekiti State, NAS supports probe on Fasini over sexual harassment. In Oyo State, insecurity not bad as portrayed by foreign media. That's coming from Ghani. Telecom crisis, Serap sues FG, NCC over 50% tariff hike. And in the national identification sector, NIMC orders to launch new multi-purpose biometric cards. Mixed reaction looms over $500 tourism tax on Nigerians in diaspora. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, on Facebook and YouTube, on Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, on Atlantic TV Network 1, on Twitter, on Atlantic TV Net, which is live on our website at www.atlantic.net.work.tv. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we will introduce our guests and discuss the stories with us here. Do stay with us. like I said, we will introduce our amazing guest with us. He is a regular, and he is no other than Manki Tane Adubabari Esquire. He's a solicitor, advocate, notary public of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He is also a socio-political analyst and a mentorship coach. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. A brand new week to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. And right into the story for today. National Agricultural Development Fund has reaffirmed its commitment to revolutionizing Nigeria agricultural sector, positioning it as a cornerstone of economic and social development. NADF, in a statement on Sunday by its Executive Secretary, Mohammed Ibrahim, says it's committed to transforming the agricultural landscape in Nigeria. Ibrahim said this during the 33rd convocation ceremony at the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State, on Saturday. Agriculture is the heartbeat of our nation, Ibrahim stated, emphasizing the sector's pivotal role in driving innovation, economic growth, and social transformation. Ibrahim highlighted NADF's swift response to a devastating epidemic in Nigeria's ginger growing belt, which destroyed 80% of the region's produce. The fund supported affected farmers by helping them transition to alternative crops such as maize and sorghum, mitigating the epidemic's impacts and aiding recovery. Ibrahim's address reflected an optimistic vision for Nigeria's agricultural sector, one that prioritizes innovation, resilience, and inclusive growth. Agriculture is not merely a livelihood, it is a force for national transformation, he declared. Barrister Manki, I will not dispute the fact that agricultural sector is not a good path to venture it. It's not a good way to, yield whatever desire you want to get financially, economically, and in the food aspect. It's actually a good sector to get into. But as a means to transform the economy of Nigeria, do you think that NADF can achieve this aim of using agriculture to transform the economy of the country?
Well, I think that will amount to kind of overstating, because it's just like every human being needs food. Food, to me, is occupying an equivalent position like oxygen. We breathe to live. So you can't do without food. And I can tell you of other facilities that enhance the growth of any nation. There is no one that beats agriculture. Agriculture now is being driven by tech. That is to say, agri exists, but it's now being powered. That's what we call catalyst. Catalyzing it, running it on the wing of tech. So agriculture remains as a mainstay. Now, the sad situation or reality in Nigeria is that with the advent of oil, agriculture is abandoned. And I say this to the government. If the government is sincere about what it is saying, using agriculture to revolutionize Nigeria, you must, based on what we call base superstructure analysis, you look at the basis. And the reality with us here is that we have a situation wherein foreign terrorists are moving ahead and taking over our lands, killing our farmers. Because these existing farmers, they are the people that would have, even their children, because most of these farmers, what they are doing from day to day, from year to year, have become inherent and become part of their system. It's like a part of their DNA. The children they give birth to will also trade that line. And so if you educate those children, they are going to take the agriculture to another level. So if you are having the children who are product of these people that are coming up, and then they are meeting the same situation, terrorists have taken over their land, where would you do the agriculture? Would you do it in the air? So that is the reality that we have to face. Enough for paper talk. Every day we see people who are not even qualified. People write paper for them to go and read. And we see this every day. People having master's degree, doctorate degree, empty-headed. Nothing to show for it. When you listen to them, you realize that these guys are empty cans. Absolutely nothing to show. So, realistically speaking, agriculture has that capacity. That's why I have personally advocated that. Why don't you allow state? Why don't you run a federalism? Properly so-called. Let every state take advantage of what it has. There is no state in Nigeria that is poor. There are states that have enough land that can venture into agriculture. The government should take definite step by wiping out these terrorists. When government does that and the ground is stable, even foreigners will come to invest here. As you have foreigners invading the mineral sector, most of these terrorism activities you are hearing about, they are after our solid mineral resources. You will not hear about task force being set up to kill youth in the area that they are mining solid mineral resources. It's only oil and gas, which they have used on equal law to steal from their real owners. Even at that, let's face the reality. Clear these people, even here in River State, these so-called terrorists, marauding as herdsmen, have taken over. You go to places like Eche, there are places that farmers cannot go. Go to places like Muchen, you see people crying, rolling to the local government, calling for help. Local government chairman is supposed to fall to security agents. Who are the persons at the hierarchy of these security agencies? It is the people from those areas. So are we serious? To me, we are joking. That's why sometimes I tell us that we joke too much in this country. When we are serious, we will do the right thing, because this thing does not require rocket science.
When do you think we'll get serious to decide to do the right thing?
When we decide to do that, unfortunately, the present government, I don't see a government. It's unfortunate, because I was telling somebody recently, if Nigerian government will give a bag of rice to a Nigerian lawyer and call it federal government subsidized rice, and the lawyer will pay 40,000 naira and submit his NIN number, and I vowed I will not be a party to it. That government is not serious. I asked, is it a rice produced in Nigeria or custom seized rice? Are we serious? We are not serious. And all these are aimed at gagging people from being able to talk. So when you see, I told you here some time ago that if you meet an agricultural expert or poultry expert and an egg is hatched, the expert can tell you, I have seen that chick, that one that is dangling there, that one dangling there, it's a cockerel. And you wonder, you can ask the person, how do you know? It's out of experience. That's what we call body language. When we see proper body language of this government, we will know this government is not very honest. Like Peter Obi will say, that we have more Yahoo people in this government than the Yahoo boys on the street. So, that is true. So
in that instance, the NADF plan to transform the economy of the country through agriculture will not stand.
It will not work unless the relevant conditions are set. That's why I say we don't need rocket science. There are conditions that you look at. I told you before, when you talk about investment, you don't need to travel out of Nigeria to look for investors. There are indicators, global indicators. When Nigeria is doing well and there are enabling environment, investors will come here. People are looking for money. Money is an idiot. And
there's a lot of money in agriculture.
Sure.
It's cut across every aspect. The fishing,
sure,
aspect, the farming, vegetation, cocoa, oil, and whatnot. So it's too vast. Like it's a whole lot. So if there's a proper consideration into this and puts it through, it can actually actualize. Since we've been hoping on the oil and gas sector and it's not yielding as much as we expect, so if we get into the aspect of agriculture, that can actually work. But I want to ask Barrister Mankey, do you think that in this aspect that we've seen that most of these refineries are not working, because I just referred to the oil and gas sector, and then because oil is actually, it's a strong mineral resources that God has given to us. And we're hoping that it's going to, boost the economy and, transform a whole lot. But in the aspect that most of those refineries are not working and it's not really giving out as much as expected. And here agriculture is, NADF is trying to put this in place to boost the economy through agriculture. And we are not still sure if it would work. What do you think we can actually, what do you suggest can be put in place in order to transform the economy of the nation? I know, as much as you said that if we venture into agriculture through the right way, put in process consideration, it can actually yield results. What other aspect do you think can be looked into in the country?
You see, when you talk about economic growth, it's something that is in chain. Okay, now like you have AIT before this, opposite this complex before. This place called Radio Estate. Because of AIT presence and its communication tower before, there are companies that will be attracted here. Do you understand? If you go to D-Line, where you have former NITE, if NITE were working, there are a lot of telecom companies that will come around there. Now, if you're talking about agriculture, you don't use wind to power the machine that will do the mechanized agriculture. You are hearing there's going to be a crisis now because telco has increased its tariff. So do you know how much? Because of energy, I have said it here before, that energy is one single aspect of our economy that affects everything. Now look, if you talk about because of the blind and short-sightedness of our leaders, they prefer exporting crude oil and having money in their private pockets rather than growing the economy. They are growing personal economy, but not national economy. And national economy is the superior thing because many people benefit rather than an individual. What the government is pursuing now is what we call individual success and communal failure. If you are talking about agriculture, you are going to talk about diesel because most of the machines that you use to do agriculture are diesel based. How much is a liter of diesel? Which should have been a natural byproduct. Nigeria has comparative economic advantage in the production of crude oil. All you need to do, we have the manpower. Allow this crude to be refined locally. And then we solve this problem because this one will dovetail to this and this to this. If you do that, it's going to affect the cost of product from the agricultural discipline. Why are the telco making noise this morning? The issue is that the money they are using to power their station because national grids are collapsing.
It's
really, and the moment the national grid collapse, it affects core and their income will just goes down. So they have to power their station. How much are they using to power their stations? Then you tell them not to increase tariff. Meanwhile, the root cause of the matter is energy, which you're supposed to address. You don't want to address it. So when they talk the way they talk, I have this feeling that these people that Nigerians are brainless idiots, incapable of strategic thinking, which is not the case. We have brain and we can see through. What the government is doing is the government is trying to behave like that husband and wife that I told you some time ago that wanted to leave their child in the house. And the child had read their body language that they want to leave the house. The child went to the wardrobe, picked his own pair of shoes, and put it by the door alongside with their own shoe. It was then they realized that the child has already picked that they want to leave the house. They started changing their language and telling the child that, okay, we want to go out, but we are going to do this for you when we come back and all want to placate the child. Look, Nigerians are dying. Nigerians are eating from dustbin. Nigeria cannot have safe medication. Retiring army officers who are not doing their job, you can't probe them. Do you understand? There's a way this thing is connected to each other. If you talk about eradication of the terrorists, it is the work of the army, not the civilians. Instead of probing the army for not doing their job, you say you cannot probe them. Instead, you are indirectly bribing them by giving them unmerited packages as retirement. You are giving them bulletproof car, which is indicative of the fact that there is insecurity here. And then you are sending them on medical trip abroad, which shows that our medical system is collapsed, it's not trustworthy. And they were given so what are you talking about? If you look at the whole thing, you realize that we are not serious. And and the whole world is looking at us. And when president goes out to say he's going to look for investors, it's like a joke. I said it some time ago that by the time the president came into office, even if it was to import modular refineries from Brazil by wheelbarrow, they will arrive by now. So the government is not serious, and they are just creating scenarios that are diverting the attention of Nigerians. From one point of view, you see this one, you think you have seen it all. So Nigeria has become a theater of absurdities. You see this one, you think the worst has happened. Next 1 hour, they will bring in another one. Just like that. You can't continue this way.
Very so much.
It's okay.
Thank you. Moving forward, National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, on Sunday declared its support for the move by the governing council of Federal University Oyo-Ekiti Fuye to probe the allegations of sexual harassment against the vice chancellor of the institution. Professor Abayomi Fasini made this declaration via President Babatunde Akintaye. The statement was made available on Sunday. Professor Fasini has been accused of sexual harassment by a staff member of the institution, Folashade Adebayo, a deputy director in the Directorate of Works and Services. ATN learned that the governing council of the institution on Friday announced that it had set up a 9-member panel to investigate accusations of sexual harassment and bribery against the vice-chancellor. Akintaye, while reacting, described the move by the governing council to investigate the matter as a welcome development. According to him, we commend the governing council of the Federal University of Oyo-Ekiti for its time